Now, while honesty is usually considered a virtue, more and more of us are tuning in to watch the Traitors every week. Lie and deceive and betray. So are we becoming a nation obsessed with deception?
Yes, because in the show you're playing a great game, and that's based on how well you're lying, and we revere the winners now, don't we, if they're traitors.
But kids watch.
Kids
and then they start
watch.
lying to their parents. Don't think about it,
I think maybe they've been doing it a long time before traitors came along. But look, from small social excuses to deliberate dishonesty, it's quite a spectrum of lying, something that most of us, I suppose we all do it, despite being told it's wrong as children.
I never do.
Well, one leading education expert argues that it is indeed an ultimate life skill that children need to learn. So is it good to teach your children, in a way, to lie in true traitor style? Let's take a listen to what you think.
I don't think there's anything wrong with a little white lie or a little fib every now and again.
I guess used in the right way, maybe, it would be good.
I don't think they should lie, no.
What do you think about lying?
It's bad. It's a bad thing.
Do you think about lying?
Bad.
Do you ever tell fibs? That's a fib.
They're not going to admit to their parents, are they? Yeah. We're joined now by education expert Cathy Walker, who says we should teach children the art of lying, and writer and self-proclaimed honest mum Vicky Broadbent, who argues it's important to encourage honesty no matter what. Now, who should we start with?
Let's
Vicky.
start with Cathy. Oh, go on.
No? Oh, OK, let's start with
Cathy.
Cathy, you're being the controversial one, aren't you?
Yes.
So I spend my life saying to my children, I don't care how bad it is what you've done, if you don't tell me the truth about it, I can't help, I can't engage, I can't talk to you about it. Now you're saying it's fine for them to lie.
So I would say fine with caveats, and I would also start by saying, you know, The Traitors is a game show. People are encouraged to deceive, to lie, to obfuscate for a cash prize. It is not real life. Real life is much, much more nuanced than that. So I do believe in the fundamental values of accountability, of honesty, of decency. But the truth is that day to day, life is not black and white. It is full of nuance. And especially as a teenager, you know, teenagers going into a future that is more volatile than ever. They've got hormonal surges running through them. Their prefrontal cortex is underdeveloped, and their amygdala, the threat center, is really, really sensitive. So they're navigating all sorts of complexity in their lives. And I think sometimes having a lie in your back pocket to get you out of a tricky situation, for example.
Give me one. Tell me one.
What's
a good lie?
So here's an example. So I'm a mum of teens. If my teens were at a party or in a social situation where they felt unsafe, they absolutely have my permission to say, my mum says I've got to go now. You know, similarly, I've got a sore throat, so I don't want to drag that, thanks. Or I've got allergies, I don't
Vicky,
want to
that sort of makes sense. So, you know, you've got to learn how to operate in the real world. And sometimes...
I'm not operating in a
truth, saying the truth in every single situation promotes confrontation, which may, as Cathy says, be unsafe, or maybe deeply unpleasant.
But I think it's also unsafe if we're teaching, you know, white lies or lies as a core value. That's not kind of my value. So for my kids, first we have to define what age children are we talking about. I've got a 4-year-old, 13, 15. It's going to be different. We saw children there that are quite young and know right from wrong. I would be quite worried about a duty of care of children as well, that it is nuanced, as you said. You're almost asking people to, you know, children to be manipulative and learn this art form of sort of lying. But then what if that puts them in danger and they're not speaking up about something that then makes them vulnerable? I don't think children are... This is something that is a virtue that we need to push,
it's
really.
interesting because we had a little clash in our household over lying, what lying really is. And so, say, for example, this was a while ago, so I'd go, Sean, have you brushed your teeth? And he's upstairs, and he goes, nearly. You know, feet going across the thing. And somebody else who I was with said, well, that's just lying. I said, no, it's not. It's just what kids do. And we had a real clash.
The definition of what a lie actually is.
But it's lying by omission, isn't it? It's lying by omission. And I think sometimes lying by omission can be a kindness. And we talk about kind of manipulation and Machiavellian, you know, goings on. I'm not talking about that kind of lying. I think that sometimes, you know, if you think about it, if we were completely honest with everybody in our lives, with our family, our partners, our colleagues...
You're talking about adults here, we're talking about children.
Well, no, I'm not, though. I'm not, Vicky. I'm talking about, let's have the example of, you know, your granny gives you a jumper for Christmas and you don't like it. And she says, do you like it?
But can I say there's an innocence that comes with childhood that's so brief. And if we are saying, you know, I actually thought it was really funny the other day when my daughter, she'd received a jumper from a family member. It was actually a dress. And she said, no, I don't like this at all. And it was actually it was like, OK, she's 4. It's OK to say that. And when in life, we've got a very short time when we can actually be transparent in that way.
But
and
isn't it helpful to explain to them, you can say, thank you very much for the gift, that's really kind of you. You don't have to comment on whether you like the gift.
Who is being offended here?
The giver?
Maybe the person, the giver.
But it's a 4-year-old, so it's like also we have to allow children to be children.
I think that if you take those... I could not agree more, but I think that if you take that 4-year-old situation saying, I don't like this, that's cutesy, it's acceptable because they're 4. If you kind of transport that forward to kind of 15, 16, and it's not a jumper anymore, it's something else. It
but we're
come across as rude.
We adapt to maturity, emotional maturity of the child.
But I think what Cathy's saying, if we don't help them to adapt, they won't.
I'm not talking about people pleasing here. OK, I think that you know.
I think you sort of are, though, Cathy.
Well, no,
I think you sort of are.
No, I'm not, because I think that if you're in a situation where you feel unsafe, for example, it's OK to lie. If there's a situation where you don't want to do something. Or you feel like, you know, you need to assert your authority, absolutely say no.
If a parent or a guardian is encouraging lying, what happens when it's a dangerous person encouraging lying? How can we expect a child to distinguish between those two adults and that kind of the way that the messaging...
Just as a final one, before we go to our poll, if a child at school is like, oh, my friend did something wrong and the teacher wants to know who did it, should they tell the truth or should they protect their friendship?
Oh, I would say tell the truth.
Alex just winced over there. Alex, that's like an ultimate dilemma.
I literally had this situation with my son. Someone else got into trouble at school and he did... Yeah, anyway.
But
the one thing I would say about lying is what I used to love when we were kids, when we used to have unwanted visitors and we used to lie about not being home and we would have to tuck down behind the sofa. That's a good lie.
Listen, we asked you at home, brilliant, Alex, we asked you at home, but it was good to teach children to lie. 12% of you agreed with Cathy and said yes. 88% have said no. I assume that 80% is all parents who don't want their children to get the thumbs up for lying.
You know, it definitely gets the blood going, doesn't it, this conversation? It definitely makes you get quite
Tell us what you think
and
be honest about it. Let us know.